I've been eyeing 2XKO since it was announced as Project L, partially for nostalgia, but mostly because it's free and I've been looking to get into a real fighting game that isn't adjacent to a kid's party game. SF6 is hella expensive and it's been sitting on my Steam wishlist for like years. 2XKO is right there, but I just kind of forgot about it because I swore off League of Legends for good reason and it's not on Steam and the development was kind of all over the place. Okay, so my very short competitive fighting game experience is that I'm a 02 level Smash Ultimate player and I'm comfortably in low gold only in Rivals of Aether 2. Both of which are platform fighters, so some might argue I don't have any fighting game experience at all. Well, I'm not here to litigate the discourse, but having played all the Shotos in Ultimate, I know for a fact a traditional fighting game learning curve is infinitely steeper than a platform fighter's. So in this video, I'm going to talk about my transition into 2XKO, what I learned, what I struggled with, any insights I had, and then at the end I'll share some initial thoughts on the non-gameplay aspect of the game. Coming from Smash, I already understood some of the core fighting game principles like neutral, advantage, disadvantage, frames, plus minus on hit or block, and I even learned the traditional fighting game notation from playing all the Shotos in Smash. In that sense, I already had my 101 down. However, when the rubber meets the road, it's a completely different story. The concept I had the most difficulty applying is turn order. Turn order means when your opponent is applying pressure on block, you have to wait for a gap in their pressure before you can fight back, also known as waiting for your turn. Turn order as a concept gets thrown around in Smash occasionally, but it's usually used in the context of someone trying to mash in disadvantage or mashing out of turn. In platform fighters like Smash, if you hit a shield, your turn is effectively over because there are so many good out of shield options. At best, you reset neutral if you don't get punished immediately. I know there are nuances to this, but fundamentally, if you hit a shield, you have to respect their OOS options. Now, if you're caught blocking in 2XKO, your options aren't nearly as generous. The universal block string is generally light, medium, heavy, special, and an assist usually gets thrown in there somewhere to let them loop the light, medium, heavy, special all over again. Depending on the opponent and the character, they could theoretically tag in their other character to do one more loop. And on top of that, you can get mixed up with grabs or overheads too. All of this is to say, I had a really bad time controlling the urge to mash while stuck in block, especially when I'm cornered. Universal defensive mechanics like break and push block help with that, though even push block can be accidentally used out of turn sometimes. Getting stuck in a corner absolutely sucks. I know in theory how to get out, but when there's a million things happening on screen, it can get a little overwhelming. I constantly get trapped in a cycle where I get hit, then my tech option gets punished, and then I get hit, and then the loop repeats. The strategy that's currently working for me, assuming I don't have break or push block, is just to sit and block until the pressure lets up just a little bit, and then I try to hit my 2M. If it hits, and I can combo back into S1 or I don't know, something. I also have to remind myself to use neutral getup, since that gives you full invincibility. If I forcefully try to roll out of the corner, I'll just get thrown back into it. This transitions into the concept of Oki, which is pretty much just tech chasing. Except here, there's a dash macro that pretty much auto tech chases for you. If they roll, since they don't have the full invincibility, you can just throw them right out of the roll. This got me so many wins, but I imagine it's not gonna fly when the skill level gets a little higher. In my first week of learning, I watched a lot of video guides. All the guides recommended I start with Pulse Combo and Juggernaut. They said not to complicate the game further, learn the basics first, and then slowly take off the training wheels. Currently, I've been playing with Pulse off and using Sidekick Fuse instead. The transition off Pulse was strangely smooth. At some point, I found myself trying to input combos manually rather than let Pulse take the wheel. Specifically, I was lunging people quite often because they keep jumping in, and I noticed I was manually trying to jump after them to extend the combo. At that point, I knew it was okay to turn it off. I'm dropping way too many combos right now, but hey, you gotta learn somehow, right? As for Juggernaut, there wasn't really a specific moment where I thought I was ready to graduate from it. I just told myself, well, I should just use Sidekick instead, and so here we are. So I played casual and bot games for about a week, and then decided to jump into my placement ranked matches. And somehow, I swept all my placement matches and ended up in Iron 3. This was honestly better than I expected, but I do have no concept of how good Iron 3 actually is. So maybe I'll get rocked and end up back in Bronze or something. Though during my placement matches, for a few brief moments, I felt like the game really slowed down for me, and I was truly piloting the champion. In those fleeting moments, I felt like my platform fighter skills were actually seeping over to 2XKO. So about the non-gameplay aspect in the roster. As expected, Ari continues to be the poster child for the entire company. Just like in League, she's already got like twice as many skins as everyone else. Teemo also continues to be really annoying. I can imagine people hating playing against him, but I come from the depths of hell that is Elite Smash in Smash Ultimate's netcode. This type of camping is nothing to me. And it also helps that Blitzcrank has a button that straight up deletes every projectile that's on the screen. When I first installed 2xKO, I thought to myself, I should play a champion I used to play in League. I used to have a one-trick Quinn account, but Quinn certainly isn't popular enough to make the cut here, so anyways, I also played a fair bit of Blitzcrank back in the day, but like who didn't? So that's why I'm playing Blitzcrank now. One last thing I'll mention is that the monetization feels quite aggressive. I don't know if League was like this back then as well, but it really feels like in 2xKO, every other thing I click tries to bring me to the store to buy coins. They also cap your in-game currency to force you to spend it, which is quite lame. With that said, just from the free tokens, events, and completing the tutorial, I've already unlocked 2/3 of the current roster. Because of that, I imagine I'll have everyone unlocked faster than they can release new fighters, probably.